cosmic things happen when the Grateful Dead are playing. And, for instance, I saw you in Portland 2 years ago the night Mount St. Helens erupted.
Right.
And you were playing Fire on the Mountain when the mountain erupted.
I know, and believe me, we didn't know.
but also, that's a kind of extreme example. David Paul was telling me that just recently in Red Rocks, you were singing I Know You Rider, and just when you got to that line about the cool Colorado rain, it started raining.
Well, that's true, but it had been raining all the time we were there.
Well,
it wasn't quite so exceptional.
Okay, the point I'm getting to is that a lot of Grateful Dead fans attach a tremendous amount of mystical significance to the Grateful Dead. I mean, you are much more than a band to a lot of Deadheads. How do you feel about all the mystical significance that is attached to the band?
We attach a certain amount of mystical significance to it ourselves. So we're not entirely free from that, So I can't blame them. It's one of those things where, but as often as possible, I make an effort to sort of debunk that, because I really feel that it's healthiest for all of us to maintain as much skepticism as possible, you know what I mean? In the interest of greater knowledge and also let's not accept too much on too little evidence.
Wouldn't you agree that there's a lot of people who have an image of you personally being a mystical type of figure that might not necessarily be what Jerry Garcia really is?
Oh, it's entirely inaccurate. I wouldn't say that there isn't. I'm not a mystical person as such by any means. I'm a person who's interested in things mystical, however, and I have interests that go in that direction for sure. But I'm not that kind of person, you know what I mean? I don't feel I have any kind of psychic gifts or anything like that. I've never had any experiences that I would really describe as truly, well, I haven't had many, let me say, experiences I would describe as truly extraordinary. And I keep looking for any evidence, of anything of that sort, I'm as interested in it as anybody is, but I don't think of myself as that kind of person.
Right. Well, what I'm getting at, though, I think if some of these people could sit down with you and talk with you and find out who you really are and, where you're really coming from, that they would be disappointed because it would not at all jive with the image that they have in their heads.
Maybe not. I really, my experience, though, so far has been that when I have talked to people that I haven't had any trouble making myself understood, certainly, and I haven't run into anybody, I haven't run into many people that were really, really out of whack, you know what I mean, in terms of what their assessment or their guess is about. Like, when people write to us, and by and large, the mail that we receive is pretty intelligent, and the people who write to us write, the people that they think they're writing to is very much like who we are, you know what I mean? I don't think there's a huge amount of distortion. There may be some individual, real extreme cases, but generally speaking, I think the people have mostly Deadheads have a pretty good, apprehension of what kind of people we are and who we are and what we understand, what we think about, and so forth.
How do you feel about people who follow you all over the country and go to extreme lengths to see you play?
Well, I understand. I understand what that means, because I've done that myself in my life, with other music. I mean, back when I was a student of bluegrass music, a bluegrass nut, I traveled across the country happily to be able to hear some of the musicians, because in those days they weren't coming to California, and for me it was, I was glad to be able to do it, really glad to be able to do it, and I understand what it means to do that, and I'm grateful to them.
Something else that's unique about the Dead is that there are people who tape every single one of your shows, and there's a huge network of tape heads.
Yeah.
How do you feel about having all your shows taped? I mean, most bands go to tremendous lengths to prevent people from doing that.
I think it's just fine, I especially since the nature of our music is that no two shows is really the same. Even if we did exactly the same tunes in exactly the same order, the shows would be really different from each other. And if they're interested in it on that level, great, and as far as I'm concerned, when we're done with the music, they can have it.
Okay. Yeah. Why do you always wear a black T-shirt?
No, actually I don't. I have blue ones, green ones, brown ones. I do almost always wear dark T-shirts, but it's only inertia, only because they're easy to buy, you know, and you can find them anywhere, and they're comfortable on stage. That's the main thing, is that they're just comfortable on stage. I haven't run into anything else that's so utilitarian. And I have other shirts, and I do wear them too, but I guess people don't see me all the time. They just see that general side of them. There's no real reason for it. It's just inertia.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Why do you never talk to the audience?
Because I don't have stuff to say to the audience. I mean, because the thing that I'm there to do is to play. And also there was a time in my life when I did talk to the audience. Back when I used to play in folk music places and coffee houses, I used to do that. But it's mostly that I'm there to play.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Do you have a favorite Dead song and a favorite Dead album?
No.
Okay, I didn't think you would. Is there a song you didn't write that you wished you had?
Oh, there's hundreds of them. Hundreds of them. I mean, I can't. I wouldn't be fair to name one of them because it's it's not in the category of ones or tens or. You know, I mean, it's more like hundreds, maybe thousands. There's all kinds of songs I wish that I'd written. It's not so much that I wish that I'd written them. I don't have that kind of attachment even to the songs I've written, you know what I mean? But songs that I'm glad somebody wrote, let me put it that way.
Okay. How come you never play Unbroken Chain in concert?
It's Phil's song, and he doesn't sing. He doesn't sing anymore, you know.
Mm-hmm. And nobody else can sing it?
I hadn't really thought about it. I suppose somebody could, but we hadn't thought about it. I think it's a wonderful song. I think it's really a lovely song.
Mm-hmm.
And, I won't, maybe sometime we'll do it, but we never did perform the tune. You know, we only recorded it. We never did perform it. I don't think we ever performed it even once in a show.
Mm-hmm.
It's a difficult song. That's one thing about it.
Okay.